Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Thanks for switching in. In this channel we're going to be exploring nothing less but the world, but not physically. We're going to be exploring the world using Google Street View. I wish this idea came to me already during the pandemic, but it didn't. In today's episode, the first episode, there's quite something exciting waiting for you. We will be traveling intercontinental from Europe to Asia and not back. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna use the famous Bosphorus Bridge. Here a few information to you before we get started. The Bosphorus Bridge is around 1.5 kilometers long, 33 meters high. Let's see, it was opened in 1973 and it has a daily traffic of 200,000. 200,000 what, you may ask? Mostly cars, perhaps a few, suicidal pedestrians and public transport. There are 3 bridges crossing the Bosphorus River. I'm sure there's a better term in English. But yeah, there are 3 bridges, and this is the most famous one. Show you a few images from the sky, because we're not gonna get this image through our journey. I believe here, this is a view into the European side. We're gonna travel from the European side to the Asian side. And this one I wanted to show you too, the bridge at night, as seen from some kind of embankment or where the ships land on the shore. If you have further questions, I cannot answer them for now because we have to go. So the way I want to do is that I want to imagine that I am somehow on the European side, perhaps up this road, Saray, CD. I suppose CD might indicate some kind of like side street or boulevard or something. Maybe some of my Turkish viewers can help me with that. And I want to imagine that this morning I decided to come down here for a stroll, and I went to this little nice park, a little pavilion, and perhaps I am that guy chilling there on the lawn reading newspaper, completely covered, long pants. Maybe this indicates that it is a particularly warm day. I'm wearing not much today for me. It's hot enough the way it is. But let's get started without further ado. Let's travel the bridge and see all the wonders and excitements that we encounter on our way. So first we have to find our way into traffic. Luckily, these cars have to wait. And we go this way. Yeah, early in our journey we seem to encounter a kind of problem already, but oops. That's no big problem. We can just help ourselves here, bring us on the right track, perhaps a bit further, and there we go. So somehow in these early morning hours, there's not so much happening. There are hardly any pedestrians about. Maybe there's nowhere to go. Who knows? Certainly there's a lot to see. We will be encountering a lot of advertising on our journey. And the closer we get to the main part of the bridge, the more traffic there will be. But fortunately, we're not in a rush. We are taking our time here today. Yeah, it's also a nice bridge, but it's not our concern today. We have a mission, imagining that we walk on the side of the road, perhaps through this lushy grass, into the dawn of the morning. And here, of course, already we see something we perhaps didn't anticipate. There's no water on the side, on this connector to the bridge. There's buildings. On one hand, the sort of white city of Istanbul. On the other hand, the brown part. In the distance, there's the bridge. That's where we want to go. It does look a bit like the Golden Gate Bridge, I have to say. I believe that is Golden Gate Bridge is much older. I've seen recently a picture of either the 100th or the 50th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge, and the whole bridge was completely covered with people that were walking across it. So if you like, we are doing our little Istanbul version of that, just without any fellow walkers. This is of course an environment here that like is completely, in theory pedestrian unfriendly. There's no sidewalk, it's just kind of this maze of highways and underpasses and tunnels and connectors and different things, but for us, we're here the first time, everything is interesting. And it is of course admirable that even like here on the side of the road, there's this bush growing. Perhaps it's a hazelnut bush, who knows? Now, as our heart starts to pump a bit faster, we're coming on the main part of the bridge, and here's a moment where I would say we can let ourselves roll, decompress from the hectic morning. Just take it slow and easy, 30-40 kilometers an hour. Yeah, if we were actually on foot, our journey would end right here. Although, I mean, there's some space, I suppose, maybe half a meter. No. Here again, the white and the brown that is so characteristic for Istanbul. Can really enjoy every bit of the road here. And this is an interesting thing. I believe these things are kind of where the main part of the bridge connected to the ongoing highway. As you know, Turkey has problems with earthquakes in the sense that there are earthquakes. And I think the bridge has to be designed in some sort of flexible manner so that it doesn't break, so that it can bend. And perhaps earthquakes are not the only reason, but also heavy traffic. Lots of trucks are going to be passing that bridge, but all of this in these early morning hours is not so much our concern. We are taking a chill. And here now, just want to have a quick look at the sign here. Ortaköy Viadugu. Yeah, I'm not speaking Turkish. I apologize if I caused any inconvenience by trying to pronounce these words. Exactly. Here we see more of these kind of, I like the right mobility infrastructural term here, but yeah. In fact, there are so many, like somehow when you start to point or direct your attention to these tiny things, then there's really a whole lot to discover, even if you're just traveling on a highway like this one. So, we're approaching the main part of the bridge. Here now in case we didn't understood it so far, foot traffic will definitely end. I suppose you could still somehow go further, but I think if companies come to sort of maintain the bridge or make sure everything is structurally in place, then probably they're gonna use these Yangan paths here on the side. One thing I am already curious about is the sort of perspective that we will have when the land on the right side ends. Perhaps just where this kind of first pillar or column is. Here we should get a first sort of like, if we were actually walking or driving over it, we would have the first sort of moment. We are getting aware of the height and sort of the views we can get from up here, even though, of course, this bridge is not there as a sort of like sightseeing object. It's a part of the infrastructure and a very, very relevant part. But still, of course, it's so amazing how you can follow the shoreline into the distance where the sort of, I suppose, Mediterranean Sea starts. And here in the distance, you see a mosque. Here, the famous Istanbul TV tower that rumors know was built on the Asian side. So, you know, taxes. But we move on from here, enjoying the cold, hard steel cables arching vertically into the sky. Well, they're not actually arching, they're just kind of, you know, straight up. And somehow we are very, very alone here. There are a few cars coming, there's a bus coming. But it's peaceful. It is a peaceful moment, and if this was your way to work, you know, this is the moment to relax, decompress, take a deep breath, scroll down, open your car window, maybe stick the head out for a while and just, you know, take it all in. But we travel on. Still in the same velocity, 50, 60 now perhaps. You can see that this like little Motorola e-bike has just overtaken us, but that's why we are on the right lane. That's why we are taking our time, because we want to see these views, we want to have the full experience. How the kind of Bosphorus river meanders its way between Europe and Asia. And we keep on traveling, Here the second pillar now. You can have a look up. It doesn't particularly appear very, very high, but it's a matter of the camera perspective. If you do see a car, you can imagine that this is, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 meters high. Just this. Something like this, I would say. But we keep on traveling. And I think the idea here is really to sort of like connect onto the bridge, follow the bridge, and connect off the bridge. Not necessarily as soon as we can, but just about where we feel like it, because this is a leisure time trip, it's a pastime. And we will go where our nose and eyes and mouth and ears take us. And at the moment, that's straight ahead. And it appears that it will be straight ahead for quite some more time. Here we could leave, but we are not interested. We don't know anyone who lives here. We have to go further. It's of course, here you see this sort of like lushy, green, humid embankments on the side of the road that are so different from the European side, where we mostly had this dried down foliage. Here it's lushy, it's green, it's for biologists ornithologists, insectologists. Different species can be found here on the side of the road that are unique to this particular part of the Bosphorus Bridge. Here the Turkish flag. I don't think it is done with like red flowers or like poppies or poppies. Yeah. But just kind of a carpet rolled out there for us, for our arrival. So let's go on, travel further. Where can we go here? Ankara. On another day, we might be in the mood of traveling further to Ankara here. But today, I would suggest not to do it. It would distract us from the things we have seen. It would not give any justice to the sort of moment we have had already. Here on the bridge, we want to take it all in, memorize it. But here now, perhaps it is the right moment to leave the bridge. It's extremely difficult to navigate through here. There's so many sort of like overlapping streets that like somehow it's very unclear where even to go. And like we have the option of like going back, changing the lanes if we want, but if you were a car driver, it's very, you have to think while you're driving. You have to sort of like make decisions on the move. Now here on the other side, I think our main idea would be to find a little roadside cafe and just wind down. Just like this one, perhaps. Perhaps this is already suited here with these fellows. They're not waiting there, but perhaps there is some kind of intercontinental border in place. Maybe there are controls, checks, different things. And here we can wind down, perhaps take a seat here on one of these walls. And if we are lucky, we can even, oh yeah, perfect. Grab something to bite nearby or use the Café Bonjour for a welcome drink just to get us started, to take it all in. And perhaps later, if we're in the mood, we can also have a coffee here. An Asian style coffee. It's actually the fun aside, I wonder if like somehow these gas stations are cheaper, sell different gas. What is different here in Asia? Is everything the same? Doesn't it not matter that we have just crossed into another continent? I think that many people, I'm not too sure, but many people that do go to Istanbul stay in the European side. At least that's kind of what I picked up from like friends and friends of friends. Perhaps they will travel this bridge just as we did or use a ferry, but somehow do not necessarily linger around here on the Asian side too much. And I really don't know why. It's of course looks very well built up, very well put together. Some gopniks on the side of the road. But yeah. Thanks very much for watching. I will leave it here. Find myself a nice shady place and call this a journey. So I hope you enjoyed what you have seen. There will be hopefully many more of these street view travel videos to come. This has been the first one now, and quite an exciting one. I would say there was loads to see, loads of advertising, loads of walls, difference and the bushiness, the foliage, the greenery, the congestion of the streets. It was quite an interesting journey, so thanks for tuning in and see you next time. Bye bye.